guys, welcome to another one of our BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ videos, and today we're going to be going through the 23 Lord of the Rings locations in New Zealand. And as you know, New Zealand is a fantasy land and you can actually see many of the Lord of the Rings landscapes as you're travelling around. So let's get to it with this full list of the Lord of the Rings locations.
Alright, and let's start with number 1, which is Mont Victoria. It is probably the most iconic location of the Lord of the Rings in the country, aside obviously from Hobbiton. But Mont Victoria is basically a massive volcano, which is the location of Mount Doom in the Lord of the Rings. It's big, it's dark, it just feels epic. One of the best ways to access it is doing the Tongariro crossing. And if you want to know more about all the locations we're going to be talking about today, you can check out in the description below for a link to the article of the 23 location of the Lord of the Rings in New Zealand. Next one.
Alright, so number 2 is one you've probably all heard of, and it's Hobbiton. Because yes, this actually is a real place in New Zealand where the set is still exactly as it was during the filming of the Hobbit movies, and there's actually guided tours around the movie set where you can go and have a drink at the Green Tavern. Is it the Green Tavern or the Green Dragon Tavern? Something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a really awesome tour to go check out and an absolute must-do for any Lord of the Rings nerd. Number 3?
Number 3 is the Kawarau Gorge. Again, if you want to know the spelling, check the article below because our pronunciation is not that great. It is one of the locations where they shot the shots for the Isengard River, and especially this location there is when they're actually paddling toward those gigantic statues that are holding a sword. Now, those are CGI made, so you don't expect to see the statues, but the river itself and the beautiful rocky gorge is definitely worth checking out.
Alright, so number 4 on the list is Mount Sunday, which is the location of Edoras during the second and the third movie, I do believe, and there's 2 ways of getting there. It's you can go on a tour from Christchurch with hassle-free tours, or you can drive there yourself. It's about a 2-hour drive from Christchurch down some pretty gravelly roads, but it's definitely worth it when you get there because the scenery is absolutely amazing, and yeah, it's in the South Island.
Number 5, it is the Tongariro Pinnacles. It's again very hard to pronounce like most Maori places, but it is located north of Wellington in the Wairarapa region, and this is basically the location from Dimholt Road, where Legolas and Aragorn and Gimli took their first encounter with the army of the undead.
Good times. Okay, in number 6 we have Skipper's Canyon, which is just north of Queenstown, and this is the location where is she called Arwen? Arwen, yes.
Oh my god, you read the book! How many times have you read that book?
Yeah, no, God, my younger self would be strangling me right now. Anyway, so Arwen, in that famous scene where she's like, if you want him, come and claim him. This is on the river through the Skipper's Canyon. So you can actually see the very spot this happened on the Skipper's Canyon jet boat tour, which takes place on that river. So go check it out.
Alright, number 7, it's Deer Park Heights. Now that's another one of the location for Rohan. There's been so many different locations used for Rohan, and this is one of them. Now this one is on our list, but it's not necessarily the easiest one to access. We haven't been able to access it ourselves just yet, just because it is on private farmland. But there are a couple of hikes that will actually give you kind of bird's eye view of it. And those can be accessed from Kelvin Heights Peninsula and Peninsula Road. And then you turn on Balmoral Drive and it's near Queenstown.
Yeah, so we do have all the specific locations on the article, which we'll link up to on the description below. Okay, so number 8 is Twisel, and this is where the famous scenes where the battles of Pelennor Fields takes place. And you can actually go to the very fields that these battle scenes were filmed in with One Ring tours, which are also based in Twisel. And it is on private land, so you can't go and access it yourself. It's best to go with the tour. And it is something that we actually did during New Zealand's biggest gap year, where we did 365 days of 365 activities in New Zealand. And during the tour, we actually were given props and costumes to take some pretty hilarious photos with. So make sure you check out that video, or make sure to link it up in the description below as well. And that location, just to make it clear, is in the South Island in the town of Twisel.
Alright, next up we have number 9, which is Keplermire. So Keplermire is the location of the Dead Marshes, where Gollum leads Sam and Frodo through. And you will be able to access this one from Mont York Road, and that is on State Highway 95. It's about 10 minutes from Te Anau. That's in the Fjorden National Park, and it's on the south of the South Island. It's basically south of Queenstown.
Yeah. Alright, so number 10 on our list is Snowdon Forest, which is a location in the Fjordland National Park in the South Island. It's accessible from Te Anau as well. And here is the Fangorn Forest, where the Ents are all based in the second movie, and where Gandalf whistles for his horse. That's a pretty awesome scene. And yeah, so obviously the forests around Fjordland National Park are absolutely amazing and do look like they're from a fantasy land. So yeah, Snowdon Forest is the particular location of Fangorn Forest.
Alright, next up, number 11, we have Mont Victoria, which is nearby Wellington, actually, in central Wellington. And you'll be surprised how close it is to the city, and it's some of the places where they have shot the part when they actually have to hide from the ringwraith. And when you have those shots from below and you see them hiding between roots, and then you have the ringwraith trying to smell them. It's quite surprising how, you know, on the movie it just feels like such a fantasy landscape, and it's just almost right in the middle of a city.
Yeah.
It's quite funny.
Also in Wellington, on number 12 on our list, is the Wetter Cave and Workshop. Now this technically isn't a filming location, but it's definitely a place you need to go if you are a Lord of the Rings fan. It's basically the place where they design all the props and do the digital effects in the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit movies. They do workshop tours there, where they take you around and show you some of the latest projects that they're working on. And they also have a cool mini museum with some figurines from the Lord of the Rings and a few props to take some photos of. So that's located in the suburb of Miramar in Wellington. It's easily accessible on the public buses, or easy to drive there.
Alright, next up, number 13, unlucky or lucky number 13, is the Wairau River. So now this is another part of the Anduin River. So the Anduin River is basically made up of like so many different rivers in New Zealand. To make up this kind of fantasy land. It's quite interesting the way they do those kind of things. Now this place was mostly used for aerial shots for the river, so you'll be able to see like some kind of aerial views when you pass through swing bridges. And this is one of the actually river that you can access from the town of Te Anau, which is on the south of Queenstown again. Te Anau area and Fjordland National Park has quite a lot of the location. You figured that out by watching this video.
Yeah, exactly. The next one I'm going to talk about is another one near Te Anau, and that is the Madara Lakes. And there's actually quite a few locations that we'll go through in the Madara Lakes. And the first one is one where Merry and Pippin are being taken away by a bunch of Urukai in the Two Towers, and Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli are following their trail. So we have specific directions, because the Madara Lakes are quite big. We have specific directions on the 23 Lord of the Rings locations, which we'll link up in the description below, so you can find a very specific place.
Alright, next up is literally in the same location as well. It's number 15, and it's the Manapouri River. So this is when the Fellowship actually leave Lothlorien. And the filming location is, and we are exact on the article, the filming location is at the swing bridge at the southern end of South Mavora Lake. As Laura mentioned, a lot of the filming has been done there, so make sure you do head there if you actually want to just do 10 locations in one go.
Yeah, so next is another Madara Lake. It's North Madara Lake, and here is where basically the Fellowship end their journey on the Anduin River, and you see them all getting out of their canoes in the Fellowship of the Ring. So we actually have GPS coordinates on this point of the article. So
it's so hard to find. We had to
yeah, exactly. So you can actually follow the GPS coordinates and see the exact bay where you see them getting out of the canoe. But yeah, it's about 71 kilometers away from Tia now. And just so you know, if you do want to see like lots of these locations in the Madara Lakes, there are campsites there, there's hiking trails, so you can definitely make a few days out of it if you do visit this area of New Zealand.
Alright, so number 17 is actually quite an interesting one. It's 12 Mile Delta, and it's actually a campsite location on the banks of Lake Wakatipu, which is nearby Queenstown. Now they have shot multiple things there, but some of the most interesting ones are when Frodo, Sam and Gollum watch the battle between Faramir's Rangers and the Oliphaunts. They also shot a scene about potatoes that you may be able to do again if you decide to just bake yourself some potatoes while camping, right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can be going boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. That's my favorite scene.
Oh,
so
my
funny.
Lord. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Alright, next up, number 18.
Alright, so next is Paradise. This is literally a place called Paradise. It's near Queenstown in, near a town called Glenorchy. And here is where the filming for Isengard took place, or at least a lot of the sort of greenery around the Tower of Isengard, and then you can see the mountains in the background during those shots. Of course, the tower isn't there, so you will have to use your imagination, but you can either access this on your own if you do drive down there yourself, or you can go with Nomad Safaris, which are based in Queenstown, and they do tours down to this area. And that's another tour that we did during New Zealand's biggest gap year, and we have taken a few tours with Nomad Safari, so we'll make sure to link up to that one in the description below as well.
Number 19 is Mount Gun with 2 N. So now this is one of the most iconic kind of New Zealand landscape location that you can see in the movies. It's when they are lighting all the beacons between Rohan and Gondor, or Gondor and Rohan more precisely. Now you can get some really awesome views of Mount Gun when you are actually doing the Franz Joseph Bailey access track, and it's free to do, so just go ahead, go crazy. It's really awesome sceneries.
Yeah. So, number 20 is the Takeno Ski Field, and this is a small club ski field on the slopes of Mount Ruapehu, which is in the centre of the North Island. And here is where Frodo, Sam and, what's the other one, Gollum, is watching the gates of Mordor opening and closing, and you can sort of see that they're in a bit of a volcanic landscape in that section. So if you do manage to make your way up to this ski field, which is on a bit of a gravel road, then you'll definitely sort of recognize the area that you're in, which is really awesome.
Alright, next up we're having the Whakapapa Ski Field. That is located very close to the ski field that Laura was talking about already. It's in central North Island, and this is one of the most iconic places in the country because it is part of the opening scene of the Fellowship of the Rings, where Isildur cuts the fingers of Sauron.
Alright, so number 22 on the list is the Manapouri River, and this is on the other side of Mount Ruapehu, which again is in the central North Island, and it's best accessed from the town of Owakuni. There's an access road up the mountain. This time it is a sealed road, so it's easier to get to, and some parking off the side of the road. And over there you can get to Manapouri Falls, and at the top of this waterfall is where Gollum is catching fish with his hands. That's a really obvious scene that you can definitely see if you watch again after you've been to visit Manapouri Falls. You'll realise, oh my god, it is exactly that place. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's quite cool. Alright, sticking with the waterfall and with the Ruapehu area, we have Tawhai Falls. Now Tawhai Falls is one of the little falls. Has, let's start again. There are little falls and there is a little pool below, and this is one of the scenes where Gollum actually has to catch a fish, where you have Faramir and his rangers aiming their arrows at him. So it's a very easy walk, seriously, one of the easiest walk we've done. We've done a video about actually this place, one of the easiest walk to do in the country. And yeah, it's located in a Ruapehu area, and it's probably just a pit stop along the way. So just plan yourself maybe 20 minutes for that, depending on how many pictures you take, but yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, so that wraps up the 23 locations of the Lord of the Rings that, well, we think you have to see in New Zealand. We have a full article on BACKPACKERGUIDE.NZ with all of those locations, all written for you with so much more information than what we just talked about today. So just make sure to check this one out. We put it right on top of the description below this video. And if you want to catch up with more of our videos, more tips to travel around New Zealand, make sure to subscribe, to like this video. We are doing so much more of those, and we even live every single Sunday New Zealand time to answer all your questions for planning your trip in New Zealand. Until next time, travel safe.
See you later.